Good evening, you're watching 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where we curate the day's top 7 stories. All right, as usual, we're going to get you up to speed where at least numerically India stands with its fight with COVID-19 in terms of what is the import of positive cases today. We stand at 1,65,799 total coronavirus positive cases, registering 4,706 deaths till now. The state of Maharashtra continues to be the state recording the highest import of numbers of 59,546 with 1,982 deaths. If you look at that number, that pretty much consolidates 33% of the entire country's number. Second is Tamil Nadu with the second highest number of COVID-19 positive cases with 19,372 and recording 145 deaths. Delhi has touched 17,386 positive cases with 398 deaths. With COVID-19 in terms of just numbers that were collated just about 20 minutes ago, I want to quickly shift focus with something that would be hugely worrying for India's economy. India's Q4 GDP growth has plummeted to 3.1%. According to the latest figures released by the Center of Statistical Organization, the overall growth for fiscal year 2020 slumped to 4.2%, lowest growth rate since 2009. Global financial crisis lowest growth rate in 44 quarters. What does this actually mean in simple layman terms for India's economy going ahead in times of an acute pandemic? I want to bring into this conversation Rajiv Dubey, my colleague who's joining us live from the newsroom. Rajiv, break it down in simple layman terms. What does this plummet mean for India and India's economy going ahead?
So, Preeti, if you look at it, in 16-17, we were at a fiscal year growth of 8.26%. And the year before was again 8%. So, this has basically means that our growth, annual growth has halved, nearly halved in the past 3 to 4 years. And that is a very dramatic fall for any economy to be able to handle. And this is reflecting in probably every aspect of life. Now, the worrying thing is that what you've witnessed so far is just the lull before the storm. If you see the 8 core sectors data that has also been released for the month of April, also released today, it actually shows that these 8 core sectors, including cement and steel, for instance, have contracted as much as 86 to 87%. And overall, 8 core sectors have contracted 38%. So our economy in April, because of the full lockdown, has contracted about that much, and which is why most of the predictions that you are seeing for FY of 2021, the next fiscal, of starting April of 21 to April of 20 to March 21, everybody is predicting a shrinking of the economy, negative growth in the economy, which basically could range anything from 25% to 45% fall in our...
Rajiv, before I want to move on, I want you to just do away with all the figures. What does this mean for somebody who's watching this broadcast right now, worried about the economy, worried about making ends meet on a budget, worrying about losing his job?
Yes, so the last part is where it ends. Basically, it starts with less economic activity, less demand in the economy. Basically means that companies will have less production. Companies having less production essentially means fewer jobs. They will shut factories or they will reduce the production at factories, which will require fewer jobs. As a result of which, economic expansion, which is what creates jobs in the economy, will come to a standstill. And that's where it stops. Like you said, jobs is where it finally ends, and it causes significant downturn, creation of unemployment right across the country. As you can see, CMI has already said that April-May unemployment is well above 23 to 24% out of the 400 odd million workforce in the country. So that's a very, very significant 100 million unemployed, almost 10 crore people.
All right. So India is staring down right now, and we just want to say it without any frills. A rather economic bleak future, at least in the present format, is what we're looking at. There would be massive job losses if you're just going in by these numbers. Appreciate you joining us, Rajiv, with all the latest in terms of numbers there. I want to now quickly shift focus as lockdown 4.0 ends on May 31st. Prime Minister Modi held a crucial meet with Home Minister Amit Shah. All of this to discuss the future course of action. Both Prime Minister and the Home Minister discussed modalities about the lockdown 5.0, which may come into effect from June 1st. The key huddle comes a day after the Home Minister sought views and suggestions from state chief ministers for lockdown 5.0. Sources say majority of chief ministers want lockdown to continue but favoured opening up of economic activities. Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant meanwhile has said that lockdown may be extended for 15 more days, but some relaxations come in the offering, like restaurants reopening, possibly. Maharashtra Cabinet will now hold a review meeting today to discuss their plan. Punjab government will take decisions on the lockdown on May 30th after reviewing the current status. Haryana, Rajasthan have said they will abide by the centre's decision.
माननीय श्री अमित जी शाह इनके साथ में मेरे टेलीफोनिकली कन्वर्जन हुआ और उसमें मुझे लगता है कि ये लॉकडाउन जिस स्थिति में है उस स्थिति से आगे 15 दिन तक 15 जून तक बढ़ सकता है, लेकिन फिर भी हमारी कोशिश ये है एक 2-3 चीज़ रिलैक्सेशन देना चाहिए. होटल इंडस्ट्री, रेस्टोरेंट इंडस्ट्री, जिम्स, दिस टाइप ऑफ इंडस्ट्री. तो हमारी कोशिश यही है कि हमारी रिक्वेस्ट है केंद्र सरकार से, देखते हैं एमएचए की गाइडलाइन के हिसाब से जो कुछ आता है, हम जो स्टेट को रिलैक्सेशन मिलता है तो उसी के हिसाब से हमारी गाइडलाइन आज.
Meanwhile, with each day passing, COVID curve for the national capital is only getting steeper. Delhi has recorded its biggest spike in COVID cases with 1,106 cases being recorded in the last 24 hours. The Delhi government is now changing its strategy and alerting its containment and isolation plan. Here's the full report.
Just a day after Delhi re-entered the list of top 3 states worst hit by COVID-19, the national capital recorded the biggest spike in the coronavirus cases. In the last 24 hours, 1,106 cases were reported, taking total to over 17,000 mark. As restrictions started easing, Delhi's COVID graph has only shown an upward trend.
कोविड के साथ अब जीना सीखना पड़ेगा अपने को. कोरोना जाने वाला नहीं है, कोरोना रहने वाला है, कोरोना फैलेगा. आज जितने ग्रीन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स दिखाई दे रहे हैं ना आपको, ये ग्रीन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स भी धीरे धीरे रेड हो जाएंगे. कोरोना के साथ जीना सीखना पड़ेगा.
To live with the virus, the Kejriwal government is now tweaking its strategy. Top sources say that the Delhi government has readied a new plan on contamination and isolation to fight that existing challenge. The government now plans to focus more on home isolation facilities to reduce the burden on hospitals.
कोरोना के केस बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है. कई बार पैनिक कॉल्स आती हैं बहुत ज़्यादा कि साहब कोरोना हो गया है, अब हॉस्पिटल भिजवाइए. बिल्कुल आपको ज़रूरत नहीं है, आप घर में रह के भी ठीक हो सकते हैं. 80 से 90% लोग घर में बैठ के, घर में रह के आइसोलेशन में ठीक हो रहे हैं.
Earlier this week, to increase the number of hospital beds, the state government issued an order asking 117 private hospitals to reserve 20% beds for COVID patients. The Delhi government says that out of 8,470 active cases, only 2,196 patients are admitted to the hospital, and almost double, 4,227 patients are in home isolation.
The policy of containment zone has also been tweaked. Instead of an entire neighborhood, now a particular house will be called the containment zone. Delhi so far has 100 containment zone. The way forward is pinpoint, isolate and contain the infection. Ankit Tyagi, New Delhi, India Today.
All right, news break coming in, and unfortunate news once again. A migrant labourer was found dead inside the toilet of a Shramik train when it was being cleaned by workers at Jhansi station. Now, officials have said the labourer had boarded the train on May 23rd. His body was actually found 4 days later inside a toilet of a Shramik train. Once again, putting the spotlight on the Shramik trains and the condition in which the migrants are being made to travel back home. With that, I want to just shift focus and keep the spotlight on Shramik special trains, the first channel to bring you a reality check on the provisions provided for the migrants on trains. My colleague Ashutosh Mishra filed this report.
India's largest ever internal evacuation drive. Nearly 3,300 Shramik special trains, ferrying over 45 lakh migrants and counting. India Today, the first channel to board Shramik special train, did a reality check on safety and amenities for passengers. Our journey began at Bihar's Betia railway station. Where a train from Ludhiana carrying migrant labourers is yet to arrive.
These are the help desk for the registration set up by the district administration. Right after upon their arrival, that's the health team officials. They will be screening all these commuters who are arriving, and then after providing food packets and water bottle, they will be taken to the respective blocks for the quarantine period.
हम लोग की कोशिश है कि हमारे जो प्रवासी हैं उन्हें कोई तरह की दिक्कत ना हो, और हमने सारा चीज़ का ध्यान रखा है. हमने बाहर में टेंट भी लगा रखा है और टेंट लगा करके शेड भी दिया है. खाना की व्यवस्था आपने कहा, खाना है, पानी है.
Soon the train chugs in and passengers start getting down. They are made to stand on circled spots to maintain distancing.
First, they are being registered, being offered sanitizer, and then after the medical screening, there will be thermal screening of these migrants. Because following the protocol, those who are the symptomatic will be taken to the medical care, and those who are asymptomatic will be taken for the quarantine period by the administration.
The train then takes us to Motihari in 45 minutes. The labourers reveal they were provided with meals and water during the journey.
खाना पीना दो जगह मिला था. एक तो पंजाब में ही खाना दे के भेजा था, एक जगह बरेली में दिया था खाना, तो बाकी यहाँ पे मिला बिस्कुट और कुरकुरे का पैकेट, और सर पानी मिला था.
In another compartment, we find two labourers sleeping on the floor since berths are occupied.
जगह नहीं मिली.
जगह नहीं मिली.
कहाँ से आ रहे हैं?
लुधियाना से आ रहे हैं.
ऐसे ही सोते हुए ही?
हाँ, बैठकर सोकर.
The immediate worry is loss of livelihood and bleak future.
तो फिर तसला फावड़ा चला लेंगे?
जी जी करेंगे करेंगे.
पहले क्या है?
जी नाम भी है हम लोग का. जी
हमको खाने की व्यवस्था भी करेगी सरकार, पैसा देगी, खाने की व्यवस्था करेगी, तब ना हम बाहर नहीं जाएंगे. फिर अपने घर में सेफ्टी से रहेंगे. बच्चे बच्चे इन लोगों को कहाँ से खिलाएंगे अगर सरकार हमको मदद नहीं करेगी तो.
Hopes of these migrants are now pinned on relaxation of lockdown and resumption of economic activities. On board Shramik train with Ashutosh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, China stands accused of digging trenches and making bunkers, trying to alter the status quo at the line of actual control in Ladakh. Now, maps dating right back to 1893 and 1907 completely expose China's tactics of creeping forward and illegally occupying Indian territory. My colleague Gaurav Sawant with this India Today exclusive.
In the first week of May, Indian and Chinese troops faced off at multiple points along the line of actual control in Ladakh, with Indian troops preventing the Chinese army from moving forward and unilaterally changing the status quo at the LAC. Maps accessed exclusively by India Today completely exposed the Chinese design of creeping forward and changing the LAC, a tactic adopted by China since the 1950s. Take for example this revenue map of Ladakh Tehsil, prepared at the time of revenue settlement in 1909. This map clearly shows Aksai Chin as part of India.
In the same period, a Ladakhi by the name of Ghulam Rasool Galwan had carried out the survey of this area. That's how this valley is known as Galwan Valley. And two more British surveyors had surveyed it, McCartney, MacDonald and Hedy Seven, who had again mapped the area, indicating that Aksai Chin belonged to India since that time.
The Chinese illegally occupied Aksai-Chin in the 1950s. China's own map of 1919, published by the then government of China, is Peking. The boundary shown in this map approximates closely to the traditional Indian alignment.
These three maps which you have acquired, they're indicative of the aspect that area of Aksai-Chin and even this area within that, inclusive of Galwan, Changchenbo, Depsang, Daulat Beg Oldie, they are area which has been by history, agreement, custom and usage been with the India from the border perspective.
Before the outbreak of hostilities between India and China, New Delhi is understood to have shared details of these maps with China. These maps also show Galwan River Valley, Depsang, Daulat Beg Oldie areas as part of India. China is slowly creeping forward, trying to alter the line of actual control and occupy commanding heights. With India pushing to develop infrastructure along the LAC, the forces are not only resisting the dragon, but pushing for restoration of the LAC.
These historical maps accessed exclusively by India today very clearly show Aksai-Chin, Depsang, Galwan Valley, Pengong So, Daulat Beg Oldie, all the areas that China disputes today are actually a part of India and have always been a part of India. How emphatically is India able to put that point across still remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The weaker a country is, the more aggressive China becomes. The stronger a country pushes back, the more pragmatic is China's approach. With cameraman Kripal Singh in Delhi, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
Meanwhile, the United Kingdom has decided to reopen its schools from June 1st with proper COVID measures. India Today's Lavina Tandon visited one such school in the city that's waiting to welcome back students.
Hand sanitizers at entrances, one-way entrance to corridors, staggered seating arrangement. A class of 30 will only have 8 students with 1 teacher. That is how United Kingdom is planning to reopen its schools from 1st of June in a phased manner.
If you can see, the chairs, the tables of the children have been distanced as per the social distancing rule, and a class that accommodates, if you can go round the class and show them that the class that would have accommodated about 30 children now will only accommodate 8. So this is the bubble rule that they are following of keeping 8 children with 1 teacher. And likewise, they will try and ensure that even within the families of these children and the teachers, these rules are being followed.
With schools shut for months, teachers are eager to get back to face-to-face classroom interaction.
Really important for us and for our staff is that we get the right balance. So I think it's ensuring that we have as many safety measures as we possibly can in place. That's the most important thing for us.
Yes. So when a child, 4-year-old, comes and teacher, and you have to give a hug, what are you going to do?
It is really difficult because in a normal situation, you do that more verbally.
Children grounded at home for months are equally excited about going back to school and meeting their mates.
I find it easier to learn when my teachers are there because online I have distractions like other apps and stuff, so I feel like it would be better to go back to school and get back to the normal routine.
What are you going to look forward to?
Meeting my friends and actually saying hello to a physical person.
For me,
Shivanjani Naidu has 2 school-going children. She's worried about her kids' education.
My dilemma at the moment is that while I want to go back to work myself so I can be there for my students, I can't very easily make a decision just yet whether I'm comfortable sending my kids off to school. So yes, that is for me a big concern. I'm not confident about sending them.
But the worry of reopening schools remain in a country with more than 250,000 active coronavirus cases and nearly 30,000 deaths. the worst is far from over. Many feel it would be premature to open schools and put children at risk. With Lavina Tandon in London, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, they are untrue, and one of the claims that is floating, that is apparently collated to the WHO, and that's not true. The fact check on that statement wrongly attributed to WHO, and there are plenty of people today affected who are vegetarians but are coronavirus positive. So false there. The other claim we are busting today is Dr. Devi Shetty issued 22 suggestions to avoid coronavirus. The fact check on that viral message, false, and falsely attributed to Dr. Devi Shetty. So there you have it, false again. Let's take you now to a final fact check for the day. Picture of a migrant woman cycling with her baby went viral. Well, there have been a lot of images of migrant cycling. With that, it's a wrap on 7 at 7. We, of course, will see you on Monday. You have a fabulous weekend. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.